Sports in the NBA. I'm your host, Damon Bruce. Wednesday in the NBA. It'll be LeBron James and the Miami Heat facing off against Rajon Rondo and the Boston Celtics. And we send you out now to Boston for opening tip. Kevin Harlan standing by.
Catch me in my Mercedes, bumping ice, baby, screaming shady till I die. Like I have a paradise, life's crazy, so I live it till the fullest. Someone's crazy and you only live it once. So I'm thinking about this nice land. That way don't stop me now, boy. Living life in the fast lane, living at the speed of life, and I can't slow down. Only got a gallon in the gas tank, almost at the finish line, so I can't stop now.
We're holding court at the home of the Celtics here in beautiful Boston, Massachusetts. The NBA on 2K Sports. That is the place you want to be, and we're happy to have you with us on our broadcast today. So the opening lineup for the Heat, Chalmers and Wade are the 1 and the 2. LeBron James is out there with Turioff, and it's Battier in at the 3, the small forward. And for Boston, Rondo, Allen, and Pierce for the perimeter. Garnett out there with Brandon Bass.
Well, we all know what a fiery, competitive team the Celtics are, with Kevin Garnett in particular. And that's one of the reasons they were second in the NBA in technical fouls last season.
It'll be the Celtics off the tip. Outside Rondo. Outside Pierce. He kicks it to Rondo. Back to Pierce. 6 on the shot clock. The 3. No good. Some solid defense from Battier. And so speaking of the Celtics, you know, some have said, Clark, that they go overboard getting into it with other teams, players. And that wasn't your game, but take us inside that whole world of the players.
You know what? I don't know if the Celtics do it any more than any other teams. I mean, Kevin Garnett is very demonstrative, has been since he's been in the league, and that intensity sometimes spills over. And I always felt that you had to be who you were. You couldn't try to fabricate something that wasn't part of your natural makeup. So if you are a guy that's verbal and a jaw-jacker, then you've got to do it within the parameters of what's going on in the game. If you're not, then you can't be that to try to improve your performance. So I've always said, like the young folks do, you know, do me, be you, you know?
Doris Burke has an update for us. Doris?
Kevin, I had a chance to talk with head coach Eric Spoelstra. He told me that they need to play with the kind of intelligence and intensity on defense that has often been their trademark. He said, we win games with our defense. That's no secret. And that's exactly how we plan to win this one. Gentlemen?
Wonderful, Doris. Thanks. They're thinking about Clark and Steve, their defense, right off the bat here.
Yeah, you're never going to go wrong putting the bulk of your effort into getting stops. I mean, that always pays off.
Yeah, for sure. And I think if that's going to be the case, if they're going to bring that style and that type of energy, they've got to be ready to go deep into their bench tonight as well.
Similarities between Rivers, the coach, and Doc Rivers, the player. I mean, he had the height to play shooting guard, but was the most valuable running the show as the point guard.
Now here's LeBron. They rule this one goaltended. Help the shot.
You know, Kevin, they were a step late on their defensive rotation, and that helped them get right to the rim.
Joel Anthony's checked in for Rony Turioff. Here's Rondo. And Pierce backs in. Here's Bass. And it's Miami with the rebound. Great point, Clark, on Rivers. You know, the teams that he has coached, Orlando and Boston, really embody him. Steve, they all play smart, tough defensively, well coached up and down.
Yeah, it is interesting how teams kind of take on their coach's personality, and that's definitely been the case with Boston and Doc Rivers. As a player, he was tough, he was smart, he was competitive, and it sure shows in the way his Boston teams have played the last few years.
And here are the Celtics now, after the Heat pick up 2. Ray Allen is on the wing. From outside the arc, and that is good. Allen's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. The Heat leading by 4. LeBron outside. The feed to Chalmers. Back to LeBron. And he lays it straight in.
He's got so many ways to hurt you. I mean, he is really an offensive force out there.
Well, the big story, of course, a year ago for Miami was the formation of the big three, LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. And although it took some time for those three to click, eventually they figured it out.
Now here's Bass. Still looking to get on the scoreboard. It's tipped out of bounds. They'll keep possession. And some changes here for the Celtics. Hollins is checked in, and it's Dooling in for Ray Allen. Then for the Heat, James Jones comes in for Shane Battier, and Mike Miller subbed in for Dwayne Wade. .121 left to play here in the first. Just 2 to shoot. Again, the miss by the Celtics. Steve, back to what you said about Miami. They struggled out of the gate. They were 9-8, but after a rough November, they kicked it on in December. And Clark, I think really the game that kind of spun them around was their first LeBron appearance in Cleveland in the win early December against the Cavs.
Yeah, that was an impressive win. I recall that. That was almost like an NBA Finals type atmosphere in terms of the media attention and so forth. But in that month, they went 15-1 and really seemed to find their rhythm and, quite honestly, never looked back.
Now, here is Miller following the miss by Paul Pierce. It's Miller on the wing. Rebound, Boston. Dooling with it. Good from 11 feet out. Dooling's got his first 2 points. Here's LeBron. Feeds to Jones. Back to LeBron with 1 on the clock. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up. It's going to be on Brandon Bass. And he knocks down the first one. So it's both teams making substitutions here. He's off on the second. The scoring fast and furious as we end the first quarter. Heat lead by 5.
And they're really keying in on getting as many good shots inside the lane as possible. They're doing a nice job of not just settling for outside looks.
Yep, I agree. I mean, they're working it inside and doing it with intention and purpose.
More great action when we return. And now the second quarter just getting set to start. Here's Miller.
Well, you knew Miami would be a new big power in the East with the big 3 in tow. They didn't disappoint, blowing right by their conference win total from the prior season.
We've got Garnett. Dooling is out there with Rajon Rondo. Then it's Allen, and it's Pietrus in at the 4 slot. That's the 5 to begin the second quarter for the Celtics. Back to Rondo. It's stolen by Wade.
Great defensive work right there. The quick hands lead to the turnover.
Let's go to our sideline reporter, Doris Burdick. Doris, what do you have?
Guys, Chris Bosh has always been on the slender side for an NBA big man. He said, quote, "I guard guys every day feeling like I wish I was that big, but I'm not going to try to be something I'm not. One thing I've learned, just be who you are. I can help this team more by just playing my game. I can shoot the basketball. I work off mismatches. That's what I've always done." And guys with great dribble penetrators like LeBron and D. Wade, a face-up four-man like Bosh, probably a better fit than the type that's going to clog up the paint.
Yeah, his great skill level has always been his edge. Thanks, Doris. That drops. Yeah, Clark, what you were saying before, the Heat before LeBron and Bosh won 32 games in all, but with them on board, they won 38 games. Steve, very nice number.
Yeah, and that 38 was only bested by the Bulls' 39 Eastern Conference wins. So Miami really handled its business well last year.
So the Celtics called timeout. They're first.
You know, guys, I think the Celtics actually came into the playoffs last season with a little less swagger than usual. I mean, losing Kendrick Perkins in a trade seemed to shake them up a little bit. And with Shaq really unable to contribute due to injuries, a team used to being big inside perhaps felt a little smaller.
For Boston, Brandon Bass is checked in for Allen, and Paul Pierce is subbed in for Keon Dooling. And then for Miami, LeBron is checked in for Turion. Mattier comes in for James Jones, and it's Chalmers in for Mike Miller. Here is Rondo, looking for his first bucket of the game. Pass to Pierce. Mattier against Petrus. Over Wade. And that one's good from Petrus. Petrus has got his first bucket in this one. The Heat leading by 7. Wade kicks to Chalmers. He's picked up by Rondo. The pass to LeBron. Dax is there. The shot's good from LeBron. LeBron's now got 7 points in the game.
Offensively, just hammering away in the paint.
And that's 10 straight points inside, too.
Pierce against Wade. Haslam against Garnett. With the fadeaway. It's hauled in by LeBron. LeBron's now got his 4th rebound in this one.
They've done their part here to run down a lot of missed shots. A solid rebounding effort.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I mean, they're fighting for every loose ball, putting a body on somebody and going after the rim.
A chance to extend the lead to double digits, but it's no good.
When you think about Kevin Garnett, he's now in his mid-30s. I think his legacy in this game will be that he's one of the great power forwards defensively of all time.
Rondo dishes to Bass. 6 to shoot. Good on the short little jump shot.
Well, using his height advantage against the much smaller man, that was the right play to make there.
We talk about the big ticket Kevin Garnett at the defensive end of the floor. Length and hands, ability, and underrated quality communication. He's got it all.
Yeah, he does have it all. And probably most important, Kevin, is the intensity rubs off on his teammates. Not just in games. I mean, it's in practice as well. That passion is second to none, and it's a real galvanizing force for his team.
Well, when they got Garnett and they had him in practice, those early days, he said he changed the defensive culture of the Boston Celtics.
He sure did.
And Miami calls their first time out of the game.
Boy, the Celtics have always enjoyed a really tough home court advantage, and no different last season. 33-8 were the Celtics in Boston.
So both teams making some changes here. Here's Battier. Cole, the pass to LeBron. They set the screen. And count it. 2 points with a chance for one more at the free throw line. Well, the Celtics have so much history here in Boston. Whose fans have so much, Steve, to be proud of.
One of my favorite places to play in a game and to broadcast a game. The fans are so knowledgeable, so much history with this franchise. They've won so many titles, been so many great players through the years, and just a fantastic place to watch a basketball game.
The and one is good, so a three-point play that time.
Well, last year in the playoffs, LeBron was up to his usual tricks. He felt good about not having to carry the same load as he always had to, though, and that relieved him a bit. It made him better in my mind.
Rondo kicks to Pietrus. He dishes it to Allen. Three-pointer. Rebounded by Battier.
Kevin, I didn't like that defensive effort at all, but they're lucky he missed it.
Yeah, they were very lucky defensively because there was some miscommunication there. They left him wide open.
Stolen away.
Great steal in the paint. Thought he might get a layup out of it, and he wound up turning it over.
And a chance here to catch up with the fourth member of our crew, Doris Burke. Hi, Doris.
Hi, Kevin. Well, one of the big turning points for Miami and the Big Three was an early season loss to the Dallas Mavericks. Their record was 9-8 at that point, and as it turned out, the Mavs would be their finals opponent. Wade said of the team meeting that followed that loss, at that meeting, letting us know to be friends and to be real with each other. If we see something wrong with our game, point it out. I think we all looked at each other and held each other accountable with our games. That was a significant moment in the Heat season.
Thank you, Doris. That game served as a wake-up call for the Heat early on.
You know, I remember that game. You could see the Heat were a different team after that loss last year, and I think it helped them get to the finals.
And he sinks the second. Back to LeBron. You know, Clark, he didn't have to carry the load like he did up in Cleveland, but he still had some big-time shots for the Heat. And, Steve, not necessarily in the regular season, but really in the postseason. That's where he stepped up big time.
Yeah, particularly in the first 3 rounds. In the finals, remember, he kind of took a step backwards, but in that Chicago series, he made some enormous shots in that series. He was so good offensively. And then all of a sudden against Dallas, it was like he lost his confidence. So he's still a little bit of a work in progress in terms of putting it all together.
Now Miller. Cole, he's covered by Rondo. And Mike Miller hits from deep. Miller's got 5 points so far.
He can be dangerous from out there. As a matter of fact, he can be lethal. His first from the arc after having none in the first quarter. Keep an eye on him.
Outside Pierce. Goes up. And he beat the buzzer. But it's no good. And that does it for the first half of play. Heat out front, up by 10.
Happy Wednesday to you. Let's keep your week rolling right along with HP at the half. Miami up on top against the Celtics in Boston. You can talk about lights out shooting, but this is out of this world. They simply can't miss out there. The first half, a productive one for LeBron. He's got 10 points, also pulled down 4 rebounds. And the Celtics still keeping at it. They've struggled with their three-point shooting. Just one of those days where the shots aren't falling. Paul Pierce not looking good so far. It hasn't been pretty. He's only got 1 make from the field. And now we'll send you back to Boston for the start of the second half.
And the second half about to start here in just a few moments. Here's Wade. It's a 10-point game.
I think anything less than the title would have to be viewed as a bit of a letdown for the Heat in last year's playoffs. Even when they entered the postseason as the number 2 seed in the East, their eyes were always set on winning it all.
On the court for the Heat, Chalmers and Wade are the 1 and the 2. Shane Battier is out there with LeBron James, and it's Turioff in at the 5. Outside Rondo. Defended by Chalmers. Nice shot by Rondo. Clark touching back on the Heat. Looking at the opponents they had to face, no easy matchups for them.
Yeah, Boston, Chicago, then Dallas. They saw a lot of tough matchups in their road to the finals, and it ultimately might have taken its toll on them because Dallas kind of wore them out in that final series. Well, credit the defense, but you've got to be more careful with the ball. That was good awareness, fouling and avoiding giving up an easy dunk.
Well, I think that's just good, smart basketball. Make him earn his points at the line.
Ray Allen is such a talented player. Had those early years in Seattle where he was brilliant, but in Boston he really found a role on a great team.
And that one misses. Clark, you know, when you talk about the Celtics defining Allen's role a bit more, I mean, that's what good teams do, isn't it? Clearly define roles for players, even veteran ones like Ray Allen.
Kevin, you're exactly right. And, you know, Ray became a much more consistent defender for the Celtics. I mean, you see that, and as you define roles, you can rein players in, and in some aspects, you can push them to do more in other areas. I think we saw it with Doc Rivers and Paul Pierce.
Sure.
From an offensive standpoint, encouraging him to be more of a playmaker and facilitator than just a bucket producer.
Up with it. And the basket by Turioff. And the Heat lead by 12.
It's been a little too easy for them inside, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so, Steve. I mean, they've really dictated the action in the paint. That's been their focus, and the defense hasn't mounted much resistance at all.
Now a timeout called by Boston.
You know, guys, thinking back to Chalmers in the NBA Finals last year, he was one of the Heat's role players that I thought really ramped it up in a tough series and helped out the Big Three quite a bit.
Switch here. Anthony's checked in. Here's Pierce. He's guarded by Battier. Outside Rondo. Battier against Pierce. Picked up by Battier. 13 feet out. Connects. The jumper drops. Pierce has got his second bucket of the game to go. Here's LeBron. 13 points in the game.
Well, we all know Rajon Rondo is among the fastest players in the NBA, but he's really the only Celtic who wants to get out and run. This is more of a half-court team. And in fact, Boston finished in the bottom 10 in the league in fast break points.
Shot clock at 6. A leaner. And another basket for Miami.
Not a lot going wrong for them on offense in the early part of the third. I mean, that's 3 makes on 4 tries now.
And Steve, you're talking about the Celtics and their slower pace, bottom 10 in fast break points. Clark, I guess that's often the case for more veteran teams. They don't want to get into a track meet.
Yeah, I think they've got to be more efficient in terms of how they massage offensive possessions. I mean, you look at Rondo, who is an absolute burner, but the rest of the starting unit probably better suited to a half-court game. And it'll be interesting seeing how the Celtics go forward because Rondo moving into his prime and obviously more effective in an up-and-down game. Will the Celtics acquiesce to who he is and what his best type of game is as they go forward? Last year, Dwayne Wade up to his usual tricks as he put up another great season, and we've certainly become accustomed to that. He scores, rebounds, and defends.
The first one falls. We're back to Wade for a moment. 25, 5, and 6. Steve, Pretty much a standard year for Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, we pretty much take him for granted at this point, and it's a shame because his greatness is just amazing, especially at the offensive end of the floor. And now playing with LeBron and Chris Bosh, what a scary trio for the Eastern Conference to deal with over the next 5-6 years.
You got to wonder, has Miami set off a bit of an arms race in regards to talent with what they were able to pull off last year? Are other teams going to look to stack stars just to try to keep up?
Now here's Pierce. It's stolen by Anthony. And they're on the break. Chalmers dishes to Wade. It's stolen by Rondo. Celtics trail by 14. The Celtics need to get a shot off. Pierce for three. And it's Miami with the rebound. LeBron's now got his 5th rebound right now in the game. Mark, you brought up the stars wanting to play with each other. You know, Steve, it seems like that is the trend now in the NBA.
Well, I think every player wants to play with great players. And it's all circumstantial, really. If you're a free agent and there's a team with cap room and you've got a partner who you want to play with and you can work it all out like Miami did, then that's great. But I think those circumstances are going to be few and far between.
Now a timeout called by Boston.
When you think of elite shooting guards in the NBA, Kobe Bryant is the #1 name that comes to mind. But Dwayne Wade is really close to being his equal.
Celtics making a change here. Pietrus has checked in. The Heat also changing it up. Udonis Haslem, he's checked in for Joel Anthony. And it's James Jones in for LeBron. We've got 1:28 left in the third. Now here's Allen. He has 5. Garnett with a screen on Chalmers. Just 5 on the clock. Allen for 3. No good. And Miami will go the other way with the ball. Here's Battier. That's good, and so Chalmers with the assist. Battier's got his 2nd bucket of the night. Here's Rondo. They set the pick. Clock at 6. To stop the run. And it's Pietrus missing.
And that's the way it's been. A big margin for them in the rebounding category.
You know, sometimes you got to get down and dirty and do the dirty work. And this one, they've done it, and it's paid off on the scoreboard in a big way.
Battier, the pass to Haslem. Unloads. Again, the Heat good for 2.
I can imagine they're going to hear an earful about this next stop. I mean, that's 3 straight field goals given up right in the middle of the lane. Inexcusable.
Well, defense starts at the rim. I mean, you want teams shooting the ball from the outside, and that's not happening. They're just giving up everything inside.
Allen outside. Basket is good. The assist from Rondo. 7 points for Allen. Wade from outside. No good on the buzzer beater. And as we end the 3rd quarter, a double-digit deficit will make it tough to come back. What can you say? LeBron James, what an impressive effort today.
Well, we know he can score, so it's not really a huge shock to see him put up these kind of big numbers.
And I would think that he most likely will continue to carry on this kind of play into the 4th.
We'll be back momentarily. So as we get rolling here in the fourth, let's go to our sideline reporter, Doris Burke, for our Sprite Spark. Doris, take it away.
Well, Kevin, for that great stretch the Heat just put together, they get the Sprite Spark Award. They've picked this defense apart, and each trip down the floor, they've managed to extend the lead. They've exerted control in every facet of this game.
All right, Doris, thank you. That run was a critical stretch mark of the game.
It sure was. I mean, once the pilot light was lit, they didn't let up.
Well, offensively, it all came together for them, Clark, and it really allowed them to kind of take control of the game at that point.
They've got Rajon Rondo. Michael Pietrus is out there with Pierce. Then there's Doolin. And it's Garnett in at the 5, roaming the paint. That's who's in the game for the Celtics.
And this is why they have the big lead. The rebounding has been dominant.
You know, guys, the +8 rebounding, I don't think it tells the whole story. I mean, they've been the more physical team from the outset. That's been the difference, their physicality. Not much resistance for him after that pick, Kevin. I mean, he had all sorts of space to hit the shot.
Outside Rondo dishes it to Pietrus. From 17 feet out. And it's Miami with the rebound. Here's Miller. Cole, Pierce covering. Cole, the pass to Anthony. 5 to shoot. Over Garnett. And the Heat get another bucket right there.
Tell you what, it's a huge plus to have him making shots like that.
And here are the Celtics. Guys, a potent offense right now.
Yeah, Kevin, really the offense is flowing quite nicely right now.
Playing with a lot of confidence, just some self-assurance. I like what we're seeing.
Now a timeout called by Boston.
Well, some missed opportunities offensively, and this is a good timeout. Let these guys get a blow, take a breather, get their legs back under them, and then refocus.
Checked in for Kevin Garnett. And the Heat making a change here as well. LeBron, he's checked in for Juwan Howard. Here's Rondo. Outside Pierce. There's the dish to Bass. Kicks it to Doolin. Takes a 3, gets it to go.
They're down right now, trying to stay in the game with the 3 ball. They've shot a lot more here in the second half than they did in the first half. And I'm not sure I agree with that strategy.
So it's Miami now. Earlier, they held a 23-point lead. And here's Jones. Back to Miller. 6 on the shot clock. Jones kicks to LeBron. Over Pietrus. LeBron can't get it to go. Celtics trail by 20. Outside Rondo. Covered by Anthony. Dooling for 3. Good on the shot. Dooling's got 6 in the quarter.
That 3-point percentage is terrific here in the second half. It could be a big factor if they stay this hot.
Yeah, they're going to have a chance to get back into this game if they can continue to shoot the ball like this.
Now here is Miller. Anthony with the screen on Rondo. Here's Cole, and it's good on the layup.
Only got a half step on his man, but that's all he needed when he ran off the pick. And as a result, able to finish the layup. That's nicely done.
He passes to Dooling. Left side Rondo. Pulls up on the elbow. And Jones pulls it down.
Tell you, he's worked hard to improve his jumper, but it still hasn't clicked for him.
LeBron outside. LeBron left side. Makes it off the glass. And the Heat lead by 21.
And the defense has to pick it up a little bit here. They're getting bullied inside, guys.
Yeah, they just have not competed well enough. I mean, they've not fought. You want to see fight and aggressiveness.
Time called here. The Celtics decide to talk it over. They're trailing by 21. We've got 1:28 left in the fourth quarter. Some changes for Boston. Garnett comes in for Michael Petras. And it's Allen in for Keon Dooley. And a new group in for the Heat. Vivens checked in. Mattier comes in for James Jones. Dwayne Wade's checked in for Mike Miller. And it's Chalmers in for Cole. Here's Garnett. And they turn it over. Stepped in the line that time.
Just a total lack of focus. Was not paying attention to where he was.
A different look for Miami. Juwan Howard's checked in for Battier. James Jones comes in for Dwayne Wade. And Cole subbed in for Mario Chalmers. .125 left to play here in the fourth. Jones with it. Goes up. Loses his man off the screen and lays it up and in. Jones has got 5 points now this quarter. Now Rondo and Pierce backs in. Bunny shot. Good.
Well, I like the fluidity I'm seeing from them on offense. It's a thing of beauty. Fun to watch.
Yeah, it is. They're moving the ball well, finding the open man, making that extra pass. They're playing very unselfishly right now.
Here is Howard, following the bucket by the Celtics. Outside Anthony. 6 to shoot. He feeds it to Jones. Launches a three. Rebound Boston. 35 seconds left in the fourth. Allen for the three. And it's good, coming on the assist by Rajon Rondo.
Nice little run here, but it may be too little too late.
Yeah, I agree. Just not enough time, Steve. The clock is their enemy, not their friend.
So it's Miami now. Now here's Jones. Cole, he's covered by Rondo. Cole, the pass to Pippen. Drops in the layup for two. And the Heat lead by 20.
Well, they're just trying to run clock now. I mean, this thing is pretty much over.
Yeah, there's nothing but the result to be determined. So it's time to start thinking about the next game now.
And so Miami takes this one by a big margin. You know, Clark, every team has a bad night, and these guys might want to watch the tape of this game the next time they have a bad night to remind themselves how dominant they can be.
Well, this is one of those dream-like games for a coach.
And that about wraps it up for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan thanking you for watching the NBA presented by 2K Sports. And now, Jordan presents our player of the game, LeBron James.